From the Arctic will start many events with a superior superpower. This has fantasy content with elements of creative writing. It all started on a Sunday night in November 2 years ago when a meteor tore through the dark sky and with its brilliance turned night into day. This happened over Europe and was noticed in several areas. Although many residents were horrified, some others admired the event. A few weeks later, some information leaked out that this object that brought the light of day so violently was not a meteorite, but something that came out of a very specific area of the Arctic Circle, the Norwegian Sea. It was something like a rocket launched from the seabed. This strange information explained that the only ones who understood this reality were the Russians and the Americans. In fact, they were supposed to be the first to catch and intercept the enemy missile in the time. What's striking, however, is that some researchers who claim to have reliable sources have leaked that it was already known that the two superpowers that this specific area in the Arctic was suspected of non-human activity below the surface. And I've recently posted a video on how the UFOs like oceans and lakes. Anyway, going back to this, officials on both sides seem to think that the possible aliens living down there did not like something about us Earthlings, and that's why they decided to put an end to humanity, but the Russians caught up with them. The same officials reportedly claimed that both the Kremlin and Washington were considering working together to intervene. This means military intervention with the risk of human casualties in those areas, assuming US-Russian forces attack the unknown extraterrestrial civilization living under the Norwegian Sea. That would automatically mean a counterattack and, of course, conflict. To the question of who this underground civilization would be, the answer was entirely hypothetical. Malevolent aliens, Hyperboreans, from the north. According to the sources, the presidents of the two superpowers had to face another, now superior superpower with origins below the Arctic. They had to handle the matter very carefully. The slightest mistake could trigger World War III, and they also had to decide among themselves whether to inform countries bordering or inside the Arctic Circle. On this matter, they had some disagreements. Missing the point would be like Russia or US invading a human country, inadvertently provoking an unwanted conflict with what in turn would bring misery and collateral damage to perhaps the entire planet. Even if they informed the countries they wanted to, it would not be easy to convince them. So in a possible attack from inside the Earth, it would again look like invasion started by one side or another. The dilemmas were many, but in the end it seemed that the great rivals, US-Russia, intended to cooperate effectively, but there was no repetition of the activity of beings living below the surface, somewhere deep, with vast technology, greater and more capable than the most modern that we have today. The vigilance gradually relaxed and the plans of the two presidents did not proceed, nor did they inform the countries directly concerned by this issue. That way, if at some point in the future something goes wrong in one of these areas, we'll know what's happened. From the Arctic will start many with superior superpowers. This story and the names are imaginary, a product of fiction, and have nothing to do with reality, nor do they correspond to it. Any resemblance to persons and situations is purely coincidental. This I've translated for you from a Greek article. Please leave your comments. Thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.